All right, so get ready, because we're going deep on this one, folks.
Buckle up.
Yeah, it's a story that's, well,
Chillin'.
yeah, exactly, like equal parts chilling and just plain bizarre.
Yeah.
We are talking about the assassination of Brian Thompson,
Oh, yeah.
CEO of the biggest health insurance company in the U.S.
Wow.
And the ripple effects of this thing.
Huge.
They went way beyond just healthcare.
Really?
We're even going to be talking about meme coins today.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're getting into the internet too, huh?
Yeah, the internet's going to come up.
I love it.
So,
Fascinating case, really.
yeah, it is fascinating.
It brings together all these worlds that you wouldn't think would ever collide, you know, with like
Right.
brutal crime,
Right.
the complexities of American healthcare,
Uh-huh.
and then like the absurdity of internet culture.
Exactly. And for this deep dive,
Yes.
our sources are a series of ex-posts
Okay.
that really break down the story,
Right.
starting with the assassination itself.
Okay.
Brian Thompson, as you might imagine, not exactly a beloved figure.
No, I can imagine.
His company had a reputation
Uh-huh.
for,
Really?
to put it bluntly,
Yeah.
screwing over vulnerable patients.
Oh, wow.
You know, the folks that really needed their insurance to work for them.
Like who?
Elderly people, hurricane victims,
Oh, geez.
the people that are really relying on this.
Yeah, the people who need it the most.
Yeah, and that's where this story, I think, really takes this unsettling turn.
Okay.
So Thompson shot and killed broad daylight.
What?
New York City.
No way.
7 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Oh, my goodness.
The NYPD confirmed it in a Bloomberg post,
Wow.
and it immediately sent shockwaves through the country.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I mean, this is big news,
yeah, huge.
but it's not just the assassination itself. It's the details
Okay. The details are what?
that set this thing into, like, true crime thriller territory.
Okay.
So
What happened?
the bullet casings found at the scene,
Okay.
inscribed with a very specific phrase.
Okay. What is it?
Deny, defend, depose.
Or deny, defend,
Yeah.
depose.
Yeah.
Now, anyone familiar with insurance might find that ringing a bell.
Yeah,
It's the title of Wendell Feynman's book,
that's right.
which is an expose on the tactics
Exactly.
that insurance companies use to avoid paying out claims. So
Yeah.
it seems very deliberate.
Super deliberate, right?
Yeah.
So is this a message from the assassin?
Could it?
A clue to their motive?
Possibly.
One ex-user even speculates in a, quote, reply.
Ooh. What do they say?
Are we looking at a highly skilled assassin planting a red herring,
Oh.
or is this an honorable masked vigilante taking out a corrupt CEO?
Oh, my God. That's...
Talk about intrigue, right?
Yeah, talk about intrigue.
So a red herring, I mean, just so everybody knows,
Yeah.
is a false clue, something meant to mislead investigators.
Okay.
So this ex-user is suggesting
Yeah.
the inscription could be a deliberate attempt to throw us off the scent of the real motive.
Wow. Okay, so we're already in conspiracy theory land.
We're already there.
Right.
Which brings us
Yeah.
to the aftermath
Okay.
of the assassination.
Okay.
That very same day,
Mm-hmm.
Anthem Blue,
Okay.
the second largest insurer in the U.S.,
Right.
announces a major policy change.
What is it?
They are no longer going to cover anesthesia for surgeries
Oh, wow.
that go beyond a certain length of time.
Okay, so like longer surgeries.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, on the surface,
Yeah.
this looks like a cold-hearted move
Totally.
in the wake of a tragedy.
Yeah, for sure.
But an ex-quote reply
Uh-huh.
adds crucial context here,
What do they say?
pointing out that this practice actually mirrors Medicare billing.
Medicare billing.
Yeah.
Okay, now,
Oh,
hold on. For those of us not in the weeds of healthcare policy,
yes.
could you break down what Medicare is?
Please,
Okay.
and why this is significant.
Sure. So Medicare is a government-run health insurance program,
Uh-huh.
primarily for people over 65.
Okay.
Now, the way Medicare bills for anesthesia, it's designed to incentivize efficiency
Okay.
and prevent anesthesiologists from essentially dragging out procedures
Oh.
to inflate their bills.
Oh, so they're trying to prevent that from happening.
Exactly
Okay.
that.
So Anthem Blue might be trying to do something similar
Could be.
by limiting the coverage for longer surgeries.
Yeah.
But the timing, right after Thompson's assassination,
Yeah.
it's incredibly suspicious.
Super suspicious.
Right.
Absolutely throws a spotlight on the often convoluted world of American healthcare and the power dynamics
Up to late.
at play.
Yeah.
So,
Which brings us to the broader context.
I'd say.
The American healthcare system itself.
Oh, right. Lay it on me.
One of the ex-posts describes it as
Yeah.
a puzzle
A
of insurers' plans and providers. And anybody who's ever dealt with medical bills in the U.S.
Oh, tell me about it.
knows it can be a nightmare to navigate.
Yeah, a total nightmare.
I mean, this is like a recurring theme, I think, in a lot of our deep dives.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Right, but the Post highlights stories of people
Yeah.
facing exorbitant costs for essential treatments,
Like what?
like hearing implants costing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh my God.
There are even cases where elderly patients are denied care
What?
simply because it wasn't profitable for the insurance company.
Jeez.
So this leads us to the question that I think the author of this X post is trying to get at.
Okay, what's the question?
What drove someone to assassinate the CEO of a health insurance company?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Right, and they suggest
Mhm.
that it could be a reflection of the growing frustration and desperation among the working class
Right.
who are struggling to afford health care and navigate this incredibly complex system.
Yeah, makes sense.
So is this act of violence against Thompson a sign of a system on the verge of collapse?
Oh, wow.
Or is it just a tragic, isolated incident?
Yeah, good question. It's a question that really leads to more questions, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, was this an act of revenge? Was this just someone who was so desperate
Yeah.
to, like, expose the injustices of the system?
Yeah.
Or is there, like, some are suggesting online a
Yeah.
more sinister agenda at play here?
Ooh, sinister agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where the story takes an even more unexpected turn.
Okay.
In the chaotic aftermath of the assassination,
Yeah.
someone creates a cryptocurrency,
A cryptocurrency.
a meme coin, to be precise,
Yeah.
as kind of this twisted tribute to Thompson's demise.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah,
A meme coin? Like Dogecoin?
like Dogecoin.
That is so
It's-
strangely fitting for
Yeah.
the internet age.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the only way the internet knows how to respond to anything anymore.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
And the author of the X post that we're talking about,
Uh-huh.
they actually use this meme coin as a jumping off point
Okay.
to talk about what meaningful resistance actually looks like.
So they're saying that creating a meme coin isn't exactly going to revolutionize healthcare.
I don't think so. I mean, it's creative.
It's creative.
Right.
Like, I mean, is it effective?
Yeah, their argument is that without organized movements,
Okay.
working towards long-term goals,
Uh-huh.
even something as dramatic as an assassination
Yeah.
can just be reduced to a fleeting internet trend,
Oh, wow.
a spectacle that generates buzz for a couple days, and then
it's gone.
it's gone.
Wow.
It's a sobering thought.
Yeah, it really is.
Right.
So what are they proposing instead? Like,
Yeah.
what does real change look like in their view?
They advocate for a more structured approach,
Okay.
a movement that's rooted in collective action
Mm-hmm.
and a clear vision for the future.
Okay.
They point to historical examples of successful revolutions
Okay.
that were built on sustained effort
Right.
and a deep understanding of the systems
Yeah.
that they were trying to change.
So they're not just calling for outrage.
Right.
They're calling for a strategic long game approach
Yes.
to fixing what's broken. Okay, that makes sense, but it also feels incredibly daunting.
It does.
Like, where do we even start?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
But I think their point is
Yeah.
that simply acknowledging the problem is the first step.
Okay.
Understanding how these systems work,
Yeah.
where the power lies,
Right.
and what levers we can actually pull
Mm-hmm.
to create real change.
Okay, so we got to understand the problem
We have to understand the problem first
before we can fix it.
before we can even start to think about solutions.
Yeah.
It feels like we've gone from a true crime thriller
Yeah.
to like a deep philosophical discussion about revolution.
Yeah, but I guess that's the point, right?
I think so.
Like, this assassination
Yeah.
has unearthed something much bigger than itself.
Absolutely.
It's forced us to confront the uncomfortable reality of our healthcare system
Yeah.
and ask ourselves what we're willing to tolerate.
What are we willing to put up with?
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of uncomfortable realities,
Okay.
the author makes a really interesting point
Yeah.
about insurance companies.
What's that?
They argue that we shouldn't necessarily view them as evil empires,
Okay.
driven solely by greed.
Okay. I mean, so that's an interesting take.
Right. Their argument is that these companies are first and foremost businesses
Right.
operating within a capitalist system.
Uh-huh.
Their primary goal is to generate profit.
Okay.
And unfortunately in healthcare,
Yeah.
that often comes at the expense of patients.
So it's not personal, it's just business.
It's not personal, it's just business.
That feels a
Yeah.
little too easy, doesn't it?
It does.
Like we're letting them off the hook
Yeah.
for the very real harm that they're causing.
Exactly. And I think the author acknowledges that this
Yeah.
profit-driven model
Mm-hmm.
has serious ethical implications,
Right.
but they also point out that this behavior isn't unique to the U.S.,
Really?
even in countries with stronger regulations.
Like when...
France, Switzerland, Germany.
Wow.
You see similar dynamics at play.
So they're saying this is like a systemic issue.
It's a systemic issue.
Not just a problem with a few bad apples.
Exactly.
It's about the incentives built into the way we finance and deliver healthcare.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to the question of meaningful resistance.
Full circle.
Yeah, how do we change those incentives?
Right.
How do we create a system that prioritizes patients' well-being over profit margins?
Wow. It feels like we've come full circle here.
Yeah, we have.
From a shocking assassination
Right.
to a meme coin
Mm-hmm.
to like a fundamental question
Yeah.
about the kind of world we want to live in.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack.
It is. Yeah, it's
I mean, we've gone from a murder mystery
right.
to a deep dive on healthcare economics
Healthcare economics.
to
Yeah.
like a philosophical debate about revolution.
It's a lot.
I feel like this assassination has cracked open this Pandora's box of issues.
Yeah, it's like this one event has forced us to look at
Yeah.
all these different things
All these different facets.
about ourselves and society.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
And it makes you confront these uncomfortable truths
Uh-huh.
about, like I said, our society, our
Yeah.
values, the systems that we create.
So let's bring it back to the listener for a second.
Okay.
What does all of this mean?
Yeah.
For someone who's just trying to navigate the healthcare system, pay their bills, and stay healthy.
Right. Like, how does this affect the average person?
Yeah, is there any reason to be hopeful
Yeah.
amidst all of this chaos and complexity?
I think the author of this ex-post would argue that
Yeah.
hope lies in action,
Okay.
not just passive outrage or fleeting internet trends,
Right.
but a sustained effort to understand the problem,
Okay.
organize with others, and push for meaningful change.
But isn't that incredibly daunting?
It is.
I mean, the American healthcare system is a behemoth.
It's huge.
How can any individual or even a group of individuals hope to make a dent in something so massive?
It's true. It's a massive challenge.
Right.
But history is full of examples of movements that start small, with people just coming together demanding something better.
Give me some examples.
Like the civil rights movement,
Okay.
the fight for women's suffrage,
Yeah.
even the rise of organized labor.
Mm-hmm.
These all started with individuals recognizing the need for change
Right.
and then taking action.
So you're saying that even though this story starts with a tragedy, with this brutal act of violence,
Yeah.
it could potentially be a catalyst for something positive.
I think that's the question the author's leaving us with.
Okay.
Will Brian Thompson's death be a wake-up call?
Right.
Will it spark a movement that transcends the meme coins and the online outrage
Yeah.
and leads to real lasting change?
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
And it really underscores the idea that even in the darkest of times,
Yeah.
there's always the potential for hope, for progress, for a better future.
Absolutely. This deep dive started with a murder, but it's really about so much more.
Yeah.
It's about power, justice, the kind of world we want to live in.
Exactly. And ultimately, it's up to each of us to decide what role we play in shaping that world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's a powerful note to end on, I think.
It is.
This deep dive may be over.
Yeah.
But the conversation, the reflection, the action that's just beginning.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay hopeful.